Greetings and salutations. This is the voice of Loquacious of Herd, bringing you his Afterthoughts on My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, Season 6, Episode 20, titled Viva Los Pegasus. I heartily suggest that you find and watch the episode itself, sans commentary, before proceeding with either this Afterthoughts review or viewing my full reaction, which is hosted at the link in the description. Be warned, this Afterthoughts review will contain spoilers for the episode. With that out of the way, on to the review. Once again, we have a map episode, and once again it is sending a pair of ponies to resolve a friendship problem. Last time around it was Pinkie Pie and Rarity. This time it's Fluttershy and Applejack. One assumes there will be a third map quest involving Rainbow Dash and Twilight, as the plot device, the cutie map, tends to dispatch each of our heroines about once per season. Fluttershy and Applejack make a good pair, and one that we've not seen a lot of in the past. Just going into this episode, that was very pleasing. As for the location of the problem, we get to visit a new locale, Las Pegasus, Equestria's version of Las Vegas, a cloud city that is one non-stop party and whose architecture is one big homage to Las Vegas's casino scene. I approved of this premise, and of the speed with which we leapt into the action. Part of the fun of this episode was exactly how poorly suited Applejack and Fluttershy initially seemed when it came to doing anything in Las Pegasus. A non-stop, loud, obnoxious party really isn't their usual scene, so to speak. So why these two? I'm with Twilight in that I believe the map knows what it's doing. It is a tool for higher powers of equestrian friendship and harmony, so if it thinks that a pair of ponies is perfect for problem-solving, then that pair of ponies is likely exactly what's needed. Which goes back to part of the fun being figuring out how AJ and Flutters are supposed to deal with whatever the problem is. Into Gladmane's resort, we're treated with lavish backgrounds, so many fun background ponies, an indoor roller coaster, posters in the style of advertisements for Cirque du Soleil and Siegfried and Roy, along with some other magician act and Britney Spears? Yes, that's definitely a Britney Spears poster in the background. And of course, the life-sized golden statue of Elvis Pony himself, Gladmane. His devotion to friendliness and his warm embrace of AJ and Fluttershy seem almost too good to be true. His tour introduces us to the local acrobatic star, her stage manager, and yes, Siegfried and Roy in pony form. And while at least one of their cutie marks appears to be a white tiger, their animal act involves a family of pink prairie dogs. On the surface, everything seems just wonderful. Every pony adores Gladmane, and he seems like the perfect host. Then it happens. Those voices. And kudos to the animation team for perfectly capturing Applejack's instant, stunned, and angry recognition. Flim and Flam are back. Only, they're fighting? Both are employed as barkers and ticket sellers for Gladmane's Pony Fantastique Theatre, and its many marvelous acts. But rather than work together, these two brothers are outright insulting one another as they work across purposes. Which leads to Fluttershy's realization that perhaps she and Applejack have been brought here to help Flim and Flam. Applejack's reaction is precisely what I would expect. Fluttershy settles in to try to help the Flim Flam brothers reconcile. Applejack continues to search for some other friendship problem, as the whole helping Flim and Flam thing is, let's just say, it's not to her liking. Fluttershy doesn't learn much beyond the fact that the rift between the two brothers is great indeed. Applejack, on the other hoof, stumbles across a number of interesting details, and not just the Prance Prance Revolution video game shown in the background. No, the two main acts of Pony Fantastique, the Cirque du Soleil acrobatic magic act and the animal act of Siegfried and Roy, are suffering from interpersonal conflicts between their main two ponies. As Scooter Pony, fresh off working for the Muppets and now helping the Cirque du Soleil folks, notes, if the principal players in the act weren't fighting, they could go on tour and enjoy far greater success than that gained from staying at Gladmane's resort. Ditto Siegfried and Roy. Their own arguments, which started when they began working for Gladmane, are keeping them stuck here. Applejack and Fluttershy compare notes, and the villain of the piece begins to become clear. Every big friendship problem in the resort is good business for Gladmane. And while their initial delving into Gladmane's relationship with his employees doesn't seem to raise any red flags from the various pony testimonies, Fluttershy gets the behind-the-scenes scoop from the animals, Bernard the Bunny and the Flying Prairinos. Turns out Gladmane is playing up the role of best friend to all concerned while manipulating and lying to them all, pitting them one against the other so that they remain reliant upon him, chained to his resort and thus engines of Gladmane's steadily increasing fortune, a fortune that comes at the expense of both his employees' rewards as well as their friendships. But what to do about it? Gladmane is good at his deception. All the ponies truly believe him to be their friend, and the things that he says are true. Once again, it's Fluttershy who points out that if only she and Applejack had the assistance of an able confidence trickster or two, getting Gladmane to reveal his true self would be much easier. And so, very grudgingly, Applejack agrees to help reconcile Flim and Flam. I very much enjoyed how the episode progressed, and by this point, it was clear that Fluttershy and Applejack were the perfect duo for dealing with the problem of Gladmane. Between the two of them, they convince Flim and Flam of the truth, and the brothers, in turn, decide to reveal Gladmane for the manipulator he is as a measure of payback. The four of them set out on an elaborate ruse designed to elicit a confession from the false friend Gladmane. Alas, their attempt backfires. Gladmane is pretty good at recognizing cons himself, and he has plans to take over all of Las Pegasus's entertainment venues, where he will continue to poison friendships as part of his business model. No wonder the map decided he needed to be stopped. End result, Gladmane nimbly avoids the conversational trap and unmasks Fluttershy, whose disguise as impossibly rich, the matriarch of the rich family, was delightful. Then the aftermath. The confrontation between AJ and Flutters as they approach Gladmane in his office and appeal to him to stop being mean. Gladmane remains unrepentant, his is a meanness that works. And, flush with victory, he is more than willing to boast about his nefarious practices and their effectiveness. Which, as it turns out, had been Flim and Flam's plan all along. With Fluttershy surreptitiously holding down Gladmane's office intercom button, Gladmane has been tricked into blabbing about his true nature to where most of those adversely affected by it could hear. Game, set, and match. Victory to Flim Flam and the forces of true friendship. After Gladmane has left the building, I was wondering what exactly Flim and Flam would be doing. They had, as Applejack mentions to them, just used their cheating and conniving skills for good. Did this count as some sort of reformation for them? Of course not. It's the Flim Flam brothers, after all. Their villainy is of a petty, self-serving, and utterly unapologetic kind. They cheat, lie, and con ponies, all in an effort to better their own position and gain riches. And they have no problems with that, nor any interest in fundamentally changing their ways. Oh, they'll offer actual goods or services in exchange for your bits, but you never quite know what you're getting from them, and all too often it won't be worth what they're asking, even when it is exactly as advertised. I expect that duo to do quite well at the vacation resort scene, because their showmanship and cutthroat business sense they should be able to clean up on the strip. But they're still just as much charlatans and con ponies as they were before. And as much as I like a good redemption storyline, or seeing a pair of villains dealt with in a more permanent fashion, this resolution to Flim Flam's role in Equestria felt perfect to me. I like their characters as they are, because they make such perfectly petty, villainous foils for the main six, while only rarely falling into behavior that truly threatens the common good. If you wish to see my full reaction to My Little Pony Friendship is Magic Season 6, Episode 20, titled Viva Las Pegasus, the link, as I mentioned earlier, is in the description. Feel free to leave any comments or likes for that reaction here on this Afterthoughts review. And until next time, as always, kindly remember, y'all are awesome. Stay awesome.